Hi, scribes! How are you all doing? So, I'm excited about our pace and how far we've come, and I'm so glad we're really getting into the meat of the matter, so to speak. It's all about telling a story that wins every time. And back to the board. Now that we're clear on the factors of a good story, the question becomes, how do you tell a good story? Let me ask that another way. How do you know the story you're telling is good? Number one, make sure you choose a clear central message. When crafting your story, make sure you have a definite idea of what you're building towards. In simple talk, what's the story all about? Romance gone wrong or right? Health issues? Intense drama about a particular subject? What is your story trying to say? This should be clear from the beginning. Number two, embrace conflict. I can't stress this enough. Conflict is what keeps the story exciting. Good storytellers craft narratives that have all sorts of obstacles thrown in the paths of their characters. In order to be satisfied with a happy ending, audiences have to watch the characters struggle to achieve their goals. Number three, have a clear structure. There are many different ways to structure a story, but the three ingredients a story must have are a beginning, a middle, and an end. We'll talk more on this when we go into how to plot a story. Number four, mind your personal experiences. I can hear someone asking, what? Let me give you a little cheat code today. See, you can always look to your life for inspiration when coming up with new stories. A good way to come up with a story idea or to add flavor to the story you already have is mining from importance of funny experiences in your real life and how they can be crafted into stories. Number five, learn from good storytellers/writers. There's no better way to learn how to write a good story than by watching films of or reading past scripts from the writers you admire. I do this sometimes as well. If I like a particular movie so much, I download the script to read. I'm always curious about how the scenes were written compared to how they were shot. I'm actually interested to see the brilliant way the writer crafted the scene or scenes and how I can learn from that. There's a site that has thousands of all types of scripts, movies, series, TV shows, etc. that you can download from. It's www.simplescripts.com. Please don't knock this. Reading good scripts have helped me over the years in my screenwriting journey. There's always something new to learn, and that's apart from the fun of simply enjoying a well-scripted story. And now for the sixth and final point in how to tell a good story. You must learn to narrow the scope of your story. It's tempting to want to put in everything you can about the subject matter of the story you're telling. Remember the very first episode when we talked about research being the first stage of storytelling? Still remember? Cool. So imagine the story is health related, and just to prove that you did the research, you decide to cram all that research into the story. No please. If you want to do that, just stick to doing a documentary instead. The reason for having all the details is to keep you well informed, to keep you armed with information you can always use in your story, especially in dialogue, which makes the story feel authentic. Do not become one of those people who like to include every detail and end up inundating their audience with facts that dilute the central story arc. In other words, don't bore us out. Understand this, please. This is how you know you've told a good story. A good story wraps itself around you and whisks you into its world. A good story lingers in your mind long after it's over. In a good story, characters are people you miss when the story is over. I'm sure there are many movies you've watched over and over again just to get that dose of experience one more time. Think about movies like that and ask yourself, why? 70% of the time, the answer is in the memorable characters. The remaining 30% is everything else in the film. Okay, let's bottle this for today. Or rather, let's drink this up. Because I want you to keep practicing everything you've been learning. And we'll talk more next episode. For now, bye. You have questions? Let's chat in the comments, or send an email to rightnowscribes@gmail.com, or say hi on IG at rightnowscribes.